So obviously he's making the walk now. I didn't really know too much about the opponent for this. So obviously it was the opponent's first ever fight. Well, first ever K1 fight. He'd done a above the belt kickboxing match before and he had lost it. So I sort of, going into the fight, I sort of had the idea that they would sort of probably be quite kick heavy coming from like an above the belt gym. But again, it's hard to tell sometimes. So we sort of prepared for the fight as if he was going to sort of be a bit more of a kicker. Someone who likes a bit of distance. Somebody who might not be too sort of into taking leg kicks. So a lot of the game plan going into the fight was sort of, and watch this now as we go into round one, because this is very relevant to what happens. We're sort of working the idea that he's going to sort of like throw a lot of kicks. So Jack to sort of like cut him down, get on the inside, working with a lot of knees. Now, that was the game plan. But as you know, things don't always go to plan. Now, again, he was a very good fighter. Both of them fighting around about 80 kilos. I think Jack, to be honest, could probably cut down a little bit more than 80. He's quite a big lad. And Joe was a big lad too, to be honest. I didn't expect him to sort of come in as thick as he did, but it's hard to know sometimes. This is the advantage sometimes with once you've had a couple of fights, you can sort of like see your opponent a bit more, sort of watch some of their past fights. Unfortunately, we didn't have this luxury going into this fight, so we just sort of had to make do with what intel we could figure out. So, as you can see, Joe and Jack, similar heights, Joe a little bit bigger. Now, I did not expect what happens now. So, ready, we're going into round one. So Joe come out now swinging. He literally come out to try and knock Jack out in round one. As you can see there, he's ready to go again. If the ref didn't hold him back there, I don't know what would have happened. Now, he's laying in the shots. Now, I wasn't too worried about Jack getting knocked out or Jack sort of like tiring from this because Jack's got amazing cardio and he can take a hell of a shot. But my major sort of concern was sort of Jack take the standing 8 count, because I knew if we took a standing 8, we're going to be down then and we're going to be at a big disadvantage. Now, I didn't personally feel that worried at this point. I didn't think Joe would be able to keep this pace up for 3 rounds. Jack's keeping himself quite tight, but as you notice, Jack's swinging a lot and he's not keeping everything down the middle. He's not closing the gap and he's not really working his knees while he threw one there so much on the inside. Now, Joe's putting a lot of pressure on Jack now, but as you notice, sort of as we come now into midway through round one, you'll start seeing a little bit of the snap go from his fights, from his shots now. So he's throwing the shots, and now a bit of that snap's gone. You can see there straight away now the power on his shots have sort of gone off a little bit. Now, Jack doing well, keeping his composure. I think the ref was quite sort of lenient because I think there would have been a very valid standing 8 in the first 30 seconds, especially on a first fight. Because again, some of those refs want to protect the fighter and make sure they're not in out their depth. Now, like I said, I didn't have any concerns about Jack getting knocked out or tiring because I know what Jack's like. He's the hardest working boy in the gym. His cardio's for days. You see at the end his comments on that. Again, Joe keeps trying to sort of rush in. Everything's wide, though. So, Joe's throwing everything wide. And I think this is the turn of the tide now. Sort of end of round one, we come back to the corner. Now, as you can see, I'm not happy with Jack at this point because I told him everything in the game plan was to throw down the middle, throw the knees when you close the gap. And he does everything I didn't tell him to do. He's swinging shots. He's throwing them wide. And he's not really trying to sort of close that distance and work the knees too much on the inside. So sort of had to G him up a little bit in the corner. As you can see, I'm a little bit animated. I'm a little bit passionate, as we say. Now, I know that's the best way Jack's going to respond. He needs a wake-up call. Jack's a slow starter, and he won't mind me saying this. He comes out sometimes without... He's the most chilled man I've ever met, I think. I'm surprised he wasn't sleeping in the walkout. So, obviously... Round 2, get onto the game plan. As you'll see now, this is where it does start to change. I already know now that he can't keep up that pace. The shots had sort of the power had gone off the end of Joe's shots towards the end of round 1, and here we come. So Jack now Straight down the middle, everything throwing straight, chipping away at the legs. As soon as he gets in, bang, there we go. There's the knees. That's the way. Again, I think he could have avoided a few swings, but again, he's getting to the inside, working him nice. Now, Joe, you can see now his power's gone. He's tiring. There's nothing on the end of those shots. And now a couple of those shots of Jack start getting through. I think if Jack was a lower weight, he could have carried that power a little bit more. So they would have probably had more of an effect. There, that's the one. There you go, Jack. There we go. Straight down the middle. See that shot there? He would have probably, if he was a bit lighter, I reckon he could have carried the power on that one. Again, lovely stuff. Working those knees to the body. And this is it. Jack's gas tank is tremendous. I've never seen somebody fitter for a fight. He probably could have done 10 rounds at that pace. Jack could have. Everything down the middle. Those shots now, again, Joe's feeling them now. He's feeling that pace. And again, it's a lonely place in that ring when you start feeling the pace. Now, a couple of those shots, like I said, getting through. Lovely, working the legs. Took a nice one there off Joe. Again, could have just been a bit tighter with his guard. Again, he's starting to swing a bit now, and that's why he's taking those shots. Knees coming in. That's it. Everything down the middle and his landing, because Joe likes to throw quite wide. At those moments, I think an uppercut would have been quite nice, just coming up through the guard. Again, every time Jack's getting in the middle now, he's looking to work those knees and then breaking off and throwing a shot. Lovely stuff. Again, those knees start to accumulate. Every time you're tapping away at that body, you start to tire your opponent. Again, you can see there's no power on Joe's shots now. And he's starting to fear the body shots a little bit. You can see how he's bringing his hands in now to sort of like try and protect his body a bit. They're starting to get through. They're starting to hurt. Again, lovely round by Jack. So if round 1 went to Joe, round 2 definitely went to Jack. So I'm telling him now, you've got to win round 3. Now, I had no doubt in my mind that he could win round 3. So like to me now as a coach in the corner, I'm like, the fight's won. All you got to do is stick to the game plan. Again, anything can happen in fighting, but I didn't really see at this point Joe had much on his shots. I didn't really see that he was landing anything of danger to Jack. And at Jack's pace, fighting at the pace he's going, if he can do that for another 2 minutes, which I knew he could, I didn't really have too many concerns. You can see I'm a little calmer in the corner now on this round. Still geared him up, but he's doing everything we've told him to do. So again, you can see Jack quite relaxed in the corner. You can see Joe's sort of body language. He looks absolutely knackered, bless him. Again, it's a hard-paced fight. So now we're going into round 3. Like I said to Jack, just do what you did in round 2. They're coming out now. Again, straight down the middle, knees around. Nice shot there from Jack. Oh, there we go. That's the way. And he starts opening the kicks to the body now, which is lovely to see. Switch to southpaw. Jack's a switch hitter, so he'll work southpaw, he'll work orthodox. It just sort of depends where his feet land. So again, there we go. There's the knees. Again, nice little uppercut would have been nice. Little head kick. Lovely stuff. Bang. There we go again. The only thing I think he could have done a little bit more is utilised his front kick. He tried one there to just try and control that distance a bit. Joe sort of rushed in from range. Oh, lovely shot there, Jack. Taking a couple, but again, he's trying to get in. He knows once he's on the inside. I think he realised there wasn't anything on the end of those shots to really worry him. So I think he's taking a few risks. And again, he knows his fitness is going to hold up. He's got a hell of a chin on him as well. There, lovely shot, Jack. Like I said, I think a lower weight next time, we're probably going to bring him in about 76. Nice. Again, you see Joe's hands drop in now to sort of try and protect the body because he can feel them. 2 things I think that he could have used a little bit more is his front kick and maybe like an uppercut on the inside, like sort of coming up through the middle as Joe's ducking his hand. Lovely stuff by Jack there. He knows the fight's won at this point. He's in no doubt now that his pace and his work rates outworked Joe in rounds 2 and 3. Again, he weathered the storm in round 1. But sometimes that's how it goes. A lot of energy in your first fight. A lot of nervous energy coming out. Again, that's where those uppercuts would have been nice. Just coming off on the back, coming through, tapping him as he's obviously on the break there. Just coming up through the middle. but can always work on things. Again, he's dropping his head a lot, hanging it quite low, hanging it forward. So just a little step back, a little uppercut would have been lovely. But we knew the fight was won at this point. Like, I knew that was 2-1. Obviously, you never know what the judges see, but I was pretty confident. Jack was pushing the pace. He was pushing the aggression. That's what K1's scored on. Again, he's pushing forward the whole time, trying to win the fight. So I knew he'd won it at that point. We just needed the judges to say it. Then if we just move forward now to the results, obviously they're saying well done to both of them. There it is, Jack getting the win, debut K1 amateur win. Fantastic stuff. Now we move on to Jack's post-fight interview. Now, I don't know what he does in his spare time, but according to Jack, this is how he gets his cardio. So we'll have a little listen in now once we've got our pictures taken. Again, I'd like to keep Jack quite active now next year.
Congratulations on the win. How would you sum up your performance? I always do it. I got fucked up for the first 2 minutes. What can I say? Just that porn-star card.
So Jack has got a second career by the sounds of it. But again, fantastic performance by Jack. Super happy with him, super proud of him. Like I said, one of the hardest working boys in the gym. He's been with me since he was about 15, I think, and he's 19 now. Just got promoted to his kickboxing purple belt the other day, well deserved. So big things for Jack coming forward next year.